I'm Margaret Lewin and welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we are going to be making this, which is called the Flower Power Tote. It's a great little tote. The pattern instructions come with a cloth handle, but I found these purple leather-like handles and I just thought that the tote really needed that. There was another reason why I did it this way, is I've changed around what I put inside as a stabilizer so that I could also make it as a little bucket. Here, I'll show you the inside of it. Hopefully you can see it. My hope is that what I will be able to do is leave this with the handles on or off and put my yarn in there next to where I sit at night so that if I am knitting or crocheting, my yarn is in here and then I can just grab my handles and go. And because of what I put in there as additional stabilizer, you can see it doesn't flop around at all. So this is what we're making today. I did have to do a couple adjustments to the pattern, mostly because of the stabilizers that I use. So what I used on this was Soft and Stable. I also used Pellon Sew-In Stabilizer. It's a real heavyweight stabilizer. And between the two, that's what gives me this really nice structure of it. If you're going to use it as just a purse, you absolutely could do it like this, but you could also just use the Soft and Stable. That would work very nicely. You do want something to give it a little bit of body so that it stands up on its own. So if you're purchasing a kit from me to make this, the kit will have enough fabric that you can do either pattern on the outside or the inside. So I just think it's adorable. I think it's really, really cute. I'm very, very pleased with how it came out. So stay tuned if you'd like to see how I made this, and I will walk you through it. These are the two fabrics that I've chosen. I'm going to open this one up so that you can see it. They are both Free Spirit fabrics. They're both actually K-Facet designs. So I wanted this for the outside of my bag, and I used this for the inside of my bag. So I'm very pleased with both of them. And I love the way it looks. I normally like to put the lighter fabrics on the inside of the bag, but on this one I really wanted that on the outside. I also wanted to show you what I quilted it with. This is a King Tut thread. It's a 40 weight thread, and it's Aswan, A-S-W-A-N is the name of the thread. The thread number is 907. And the thread has got a little bit of purple in it. It's got a blue and then a darker blue. And I just absolutely loved the way it looked against the fabric, and I just thought it would give it a great pop. So the first thing that I did was I cut the fabric, the stabilizer, and the really thick heavyweight stabilizer. So the first thing that I did was I cut the fabric, I cut the Soft and Stable, and then that really heavy thick stabilizer so that I could quilt my fabric. And you're only quilting the outside of it. Now I'm going to bring it up here so you can see it. Hopefully you can see the blue threads here. They aren't real noticeable, but they are noticeable, and I love them. I did lengthen my stitch to about 3, and I quilted it an inch apart versus using a 1/2 inch, which is what their pattern had. And I'm very pleased that I used the full inch and not the 1/2 inch. So it went really quick and easy. I actually made this up in the afternoon. So that's how I did that. Then one of the things that I want to tell you is when I quilted the front of it, even though I stabilized my fabric, it did move. So I had to trim it up by about a 1/2 inch all the way around. Well, what that did when I trimmed it up by a 1/2 inch all the way around is it created the fact that the outside of the bag was a little bit smaller than the inside. So that meant that when I finished the bag totally, I had this really neat little fold over hem at the very top of it. And I'm thrilled to pieces that I did, because I truly liked that a lot. I'm very, very glad that that was there. It's a really nice subtle accent as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I did to start out with. And I'm going to now show you how I put the bag together. All right, I've quilted the front, the back, and the bottom of my bag. So it's all quilted. You can see I use this blue thread. It's actually a light blue, a dark blue, and a purple. So it's really, really pretty. So I'm very excited about that. The next thing that we need to do is we need to sew the front and the tote of the bag together. So the front and the back of the tote have to get sewn together. And we're going to sew these together, right sides together. So I'm going to do that. Once I do that, I am going to press these open, all right? Now, all of the seams on this are 1/2 inch seams, so it's different than what we're used to. So you got to do a 1/2 inch seam. All right, so I hope you can see I have inserted my bottom and I've stitched. I came in 3 3/4 on each side. I put my piece down and then I've stitched a 1/2 inch seam. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold my thing in half so that all of my sides match up, just like that. And I'm gonna clip this side in. Let me get my little wonder clips here. And I'm gonna sew this side in a 1/2 inch, just like I did this side, okay? And then we're gonna come back and attach the 2 ends to it. But the first thing we're gonna do is get our center in there aligned properly, all right? So there's those. Make sure I'm good and straight here, and it looks like I am. I'm gonna turn this clip around. And then I'm gonna take it and lay it down on my sewing bed like this, and I'm gonna stitch right across there. All right, so I've sewn my 2 sides on. You can see it's really strange now. Wait till you see this thing. See, it's all weird, okay? I've got it all together, or got my 2 sides together. So now I'm gonna take and I'm gonna straighten my bottom out, and I'm just gonna bring my sides right up to it. See, like that. And I'm just gonna pinch it. I'm gonna take my wonder clips and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna put these 2 seams together. I'm gonna open this middle up because that needs to be open to lay a little bit flatter. All right, here's another one and another one. And then one more. All right, so there it's that. Now, the reason why mine will lay flat like this is because the directions tell you to clip it. So you're gonna go in, I think it was 3 3/4 inches, and then you make a 3/8 inch clip up. And here's my 3/8 inch clip right there, okay? So that's what you do. And then you can just wrestle this together. There's a little bit of wrestling, but you can do it. It's not hard. It's just a little fussy, that's all. We don't mind fussy as long as we end up with a really cute bag, right? That's all that matters, is that we get a cute bag. This thing is gonna work out perfect. I can't wait for you guys to see it all done. Now, the lining does call for a bag on that, or a pocket on this. I am not doing a lining pocket, I don't think. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to sew across here. And I'm going to sew across here. And then, look at how cute that is inside. Can you see in there? That's going to be the outside of my bag. I'll be back. Now it's time to put the lining of our bag together. If you wanted to put a pocket on it, right here is when you would do that part. All right? I decided I am not putting a pocket on mine. So the next thing you do is you take, and according to the directions, we have to cut little notches out of the bottom of our fabric bag lining. And the measurements are all on your pattern, and your pattern will be available on my website for you to download, okay? The next thing that you do is you take it and you put it right sides together, and you're gonna sew a 1/2 inch seam here, all right? Once you've sewn your 1/2 inch seam, I'm gonna pin this together so that it's easier to show you at this point versus just because it'll be easier to show you. So I'm going to pin it at this point so I can show you what it's going to look like. So then you're going to open this up after it's all stitched, and what's going to happen is this is going to be your seam. So what you're going to do is sew a little bit of your bottom together. I would come in no more than about 1.5 inches, and you're going to back stitch it there. And please make certain that you do back stitch it. All right, I'm going to put a pin in there that's kind of like a sewn seam. Once you've done that, then you're going to open this up just like this, and you're going to stitch right across there. All right? You need to leave this bottom part of your bag open so that you can turn it right sides out. So that's how you're going to stitch the lining of your bag. It's real simple. There aren't any issues at all with it. It's a really, you won't have any problems, honest. The next step is to put your bag together. What I suggest that you do is take your lining and put it inside out, and then put your bag inside of that so that you've got your right sides together. And as all you're going to do is stitch a 1/2 inch seam all the way around, then turn it right side out by slipping it through the bottom of your lining piece that we did not sew shop. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today while we made this flower power tote. If you'd like to make one like mine, the fabric and the notions kits are available on my website. I'll put a link below so that you can go out and get one for yourself. And while you're out there, there's a link directly to sign up for my email list. Make sure you do that so that you get told of all of the new things that are coming up in the near future. And don't forget, we do have a Facebook page, and we're having an awful lot of fun over there sharing pictures of all the projects that we're doing. So make sure that you go out there and sign up too. And Lindsay and I are both figuring out Instagram, so we're there too. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Bye.